welcome back to the channel for another College TF review. Today we're taking a look at Newage Legendary Heroes Alliance Military Strategist Harry, Arc Warrior number 3 as advertised on the packaging. And right off the bat, I'm just going to say this figure is absolutely amazing. He was the first Newage figure that I added to the collection, and I've been blown away by the engineering. I think it's a fantastic version of just the transforming car that I think actually Hasbro has taken some inspiration from in recent Transformers, though a lot of the current Kingdom and Legacy Transformers, such as like Silver Streak and the latest release of Prowl, I think copy actually a lot of engineering from this, though honestly not as well. This has even more features than those deluxe class offerings. So first, let's just take a look at the box before we get into the figure. As you can see again, that very G1 inspired art the Newage puts on the box, which I think looks fantastic. We see him throughout. Again, this is his Newage name is Harry, but of course this is Prowl, original cartoon, in this Datsun configuration, Datsun police car. It's a very nice packaging. And then we do get, I would say, a deluxe class sized instruction manual, which is exactly what he is in terms of engineering. He is like, again, epitomizes the mini masterpiece quality when it comes to these Newage figures. But honestly, for this guy, I think his transformation, though is complex for his size, is still very straightforward and very fun, and results in fantastic looking robot and alt modes. So let's bring in the figure for a closer look here. Of course, we get these guns up top here. These are separate attachments. They just pop right off that you'll see in transformation, but they are, of course, you can pose them however you like. Put them down. The head is on a ball joint, so buck left to right, full range, up to a very great degree because of transformation, and down ever so slightly. But the head sculpt is fantastic, and I think it's actually amazing how this faceplate is actually a different piece. So I'm sure is part of the versatility and engineering the other figures that share the same mold. But still, wonderful design, very nice crests on the head there. Of course, we got the dots in front here, and almost Datsun logo on the front. And then very nice looking arms. In terms of articulation of the arms, we get a ton. There's actually, so this transformation joint you could exploit if you want at the shoulder, in addition to the ball joint here at the shoulder for full range of motion, and then full 90-degree out, of course, there. But then again, you can use that joint to get a very, very extreme degree of motion, which is fantastic. And then we get this elbow joint, which is a ball joint here, so we can bend to the full 90 there. And then because of transformation, it actually is a double joint, so you can bend to a very extreme degree. And right now, the only thing that's limiting it, honestly, is the gun in his hand. And then no kind of wrist rotation on this guy, just because of transformation, and it's really tiny, but you can bend it down. Again, exploiting the transformation joint there. And then before we get down to the waist, you actually can maneuver his doors or wings here however you like. You can position them up, you can actually lower them down, whatever kind of expression you're trying to pull off. And then of course you can also angle them back to different degrees, that being the furthest back and then furthest forward. So whatever your preference is, or whatever kind of expression you're trying to pull off with this guy. And then we do not have any kind of, we do have an ab crunch here actually, right there at the waist. Very nice, of course, from Newage, all those features. And of course we do get a full 360-degree waist pivot there. And then at the upper thigh here, we do get ball joint, so you can kick out all the way to 90, kick forward all the way to 90 there, and then back all the way as well to a very, very great degree, perfect. And then in terms of knee articulation, we do get a full 90-degree bend there, and then because of articulation, you can actually get a or transformation, you can get a really far range of motion there, if you just unhinge that joint a little bit. And then at the feet, we actually get ball joints in there. So not only do we get side to side, we get up and down, the whole shebang for transformation purposes, and then of course just to make him a fantastically posable figure. And then let's take a look at his accessories here. So the gun, of course I already showed you the gun's mounted behind him on his shoulders. So his gun, very nicely sculpted G1 look, and a nice gray looking plastic there. And of course it's symmetric on the other side. Yeah, very nice accessory. And then for some size comparisons, bring in Hasbro product, being of course Kingdom Core Class Optimus, and you can just see how small this guy actually is. He could totally fit in with the Core Class figures if you so desired. It's right around that same size as Hot Rod in vehicle form. And then bringing in, of course, the more important comparison, I would think, that being Newage Optimus Prime, or David is his package name. And I think these two scale very well with one another, for sure. Definitely look the part from the G1 cartoon. And again, this version of Harry here is his cartoon paint scheme. I think they've also released him in several other variations, like transparent, and I know for some of the other ones like Jazz, they've done limited releases, so you can actually obtain this guy in several different paint schemes if you so desire, which is pretty awesome from Newage. Now to transformation. First you want to, of course, remove all the accessories. So again, these just unpeg from the sides there, and you can see there's just a peg hole there to go into. Very well done. And then we want to start with, I like to start with the hands here. We just tuck the fists into the arms and straighten all that out. And then I come down to the feet and just rotate all this around and collapse them together like that. Rotate at the waist. And then we want to unclip his chest from his torso right there. And so you can see there's this tab here that was tabbed into a slot torso there. So we just want to make sure the head is angled back, and then we can rotate all this around and flatten out. And there you can see we already have the hood of the car formed. So simplistic yet effective transformation. Then we want to take the windshield, and you can see we just have these two tabs here that go into those two slots. Nice and simple. And then we want to collapse the legs. So this is just like on a lot of the modern Kingdom and Legacy releases, those Datsuns where they just all collapse in on those double joints. So it just collapses very nicely, very cleanly. And then for the doors, I think this engineering is fantastic. How also, if you haven't seen my Optus review, very similar how the windows collapse down on these doors. You can't quite mimic the door opening feature that Newage David does, but still pretty awesome transformation. So we have the sides, and last but not least, we got to do the wheels. So we just want to rotate these shoulder joints around 90 degrees, then bend down, and there you can see we have the hood of the Datsuns filled out. And then for these fists, we actually need to rotate them all the way around, and you can see that exposes this tab here on the bottom of the arm that goes into those slots on the bottom. And you can see the fists just line up in there as well. We just straighten this wheel out, just compress it, and that forms the whole one side. Do it on the other side, of course. Compress, tab that in, and there we have Newage Harry, aka Prowl, all transformed into his Datsun police car. And I think this looks fantastic, absolutely amazing, masterpiece level alt mode look. I mean, if you pick this guy up, you can barely tell he's even a transformer, honestly. Everything packs up so well and cleanly. And even the joints that Newage uses, they're so tiny, and it's all pin joints, so not only are they very robust and have the perfect amount of play and still retaining some friction for extreme posability, but also are very well disguised and are not obtrusive in vehicle mode or robot mode. So very, very nice figure there from Newage. highly recommend him, and especially because he's about usually around the price of a deluxe class to obtain these figures, which given their size is a lot, but I think it's well worth the money, especially comparing them to Masterpiece Transformers. If you can't quite afford them or you don't have enough space, these are a perfect option. Highly recommend the Newage figures. If you haven't checked my review out on David, please be sure to check him out. Stay tuned for more Newage reviews, and thank you. See you in the next review.